Were there cases where guards offered to trade sexual favors in exchange for some gum? How about things as small as gum?
He said that sex was the most important thing in a relationship. You just had to have it and there was nothing else.
He said that he wanted to get together with me in a sexual way. And I told him, I said, I said, no. And I made an excuse and I just left. Well, the next couple of nights, I kept on, saying I had an excuse. And then I couldn't say it no more, and he did it. We had sex. He told me that if you tell anybody, they're not going to believe you anyway. You're an inmate.
I thought I was just a human being that made a mistake. But I realized I'm just a stay whore because this is what these people are telling me every day. It's okay for you to give this officer a job. It's okay for this officer to give you $50.
He was after the sex. If I had sex with him, I could have the relationship. If he had the relationship with me, he could have the sex.
There are 21 counts against you.
All right. 14 for sexual assault and 7 for sodomy.
That's correct.
Jane Doe number 85 says that she has sexual relations with you in Building 4 and in Building 1 at a counselor's office. Jane Doe 57 says she had a sexual relationship with you. Jane Doe 64 says she had sex with you in a secretary's office. Jane Doe 66 said she had sex with you in the issue room of Building F, in the storage room of Building C, and Building A. There's Jane Doe 80, Jane Doe 15, Jane Doe 14, Jane Doe 13. Are all these women lying?
All of them are lying. Every one of those ladies are lying.
Everybody was doing it. So many people were doing it. And it's like the officers knew, the staff knew, the wardens knew.
Why didn't I know it? No. I wish I had.
The women say Filio used his authority to threaten those who refused his sexual advances. Their punishment, they say, could be solitary confinement.
Why do you think he wanted to have sex with you?
I believe because he wanted that power over us.
Women from the prison were taken to a local motel, they tell us, for what amounted to prostitution. What happened there, they say, was an extension of what happened inside the prison. It was a private arrangement, not an openly operating brothel. They say the customers were men associated with the Department of Corrections.
And the girls would be taken out on their outside details and set up in this little hotel room. Customers were brought, money exchanged. Then today, the girls were brought back to the institution. How could they be taken outside?
Easy.
I confronted him one day and I told him, I said, look, I'm pregnant. And he laughed. He thought it was funny. And then he reared back in his chair and he put his arms behind his head and just grinned at me. He said, well, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do? And then he balled his fist up. He said, well, I could always beat it out of you. They killed my soul that day.
Some of the women have said that they went to a motel from time to time.
That's not true.
You don't think that it ever happened?
It did not happen. No.
Do I think it's possible? Anything's possible. If you want something bad enough, I guess anything's possible.
You think you know what happens inside a women's prison. You don't know shit.
They had power here around all these women. They could make them do what they wanted to because they were staff.
See, in today's video, I'm going to expose what actually goes down in women's prisons, not the stuff you watch on the BBC or CNN. So let's begin.
There was one guard in particular that had a pregnancy fetish, and he would always pull me out of line, pull other pregnant women out of line to pat us down and make sure we're not stealing like cornbread from the chow hall. A lot of the male correctional officers would watch female shower, and it wasn't just that like, oh, I can see you, you can see me. They would even take it a step further and come up to women and tell them, like, I saw you in the shower earlier. It was awful.
Damn.
I was also serving time in a prison where the chaplain was convicted a year after I left of raping 5 women.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. So I mean, if you're at the mercy of these male COs to some degree, what do? You just got to deal with it? I mean, how do you?
A lot of women that are in prison are scared. They're scared of the correctional officers. So much so that, like, you can't stand up for yourself or say anything crazy, which you shouldn't do anyway, man or woman in a prison. You shouldn't talk back to the guards or talk shit to the guards. It's going to get you beat up and put in seg.
Exactly.
Nothing's different when it comes to women. I've been pepper sprayed. I've been thrown on the ground and pulled to seg. They don't care. They don't care that you're female. You're still going to get your ass kicked and taken to seg. So it's just It's a rough thing.
So let's answer the biggest question. How does it all start? See, it all starts way before you even understand what's happening. Like a guard giving you extra protection, doing small favors, asking personal questions. And as they say, the bait always looks harmless before the hook sets in. Once you fall for the trap, well...
Were there cases where guards offered to trade sexual favors in exchange for some gum? How about things as small as gum?
But hey, power is power, right? How about something even smaller? Like your phone calls, your visitation, your commissary. Everything you need to survive in here.
It's a fearsome and awesome thing to be imprisoned and trying to expose corruption within that system that's keeping you.
The facility I'm talking about is the Georgia facility. In here, 85 to 90% of officers are male, around a facility full of women. Isn't it crazy?
The Georgia Women's Correctional Institution is the largest women's prison in the state. It has 700 inmates convicted of crimes ranging from murder to first-time drug offenses. Prison inmates often do not have a reputation for sticking to the truth, but we spent 4 months listening to very convincing story. In any prison, under any laws, it is impossible to guarantee there will be no sex between the guards and the guarded. Here, the women say it went beyond that.
But now, let's talk about the playboy of the facility, Lieutenant James Filio.
Some of these women have said that they really believed that they had a truly caring relationship with you.
Those are lies. Those are lies. There was no relationships within the inmates out there, not on my part. The only reason these women would allege these things is to make their story more believable.
They passed polygraph.
I can't help that. They're lying.
One of the most powerful officers inside the facility.
And with great power comes great responsibility.
Poof, irresponsible lieutenant.
The most notorious, the Lieutenant James Filio.
Mr. Filio, you have no comment on this?
No comment. As a lieutenant, he was one of the institution's most powerful officers. What he allegedly did inside the prison is typical of what women charge many staff did. The women say that what happened inside the walls of the institution went on for years. They charge that officers used the power their uniforms gave them to coerce or cajole them into sex. It was an open secret, they say, until one by one, the women began to defy those who control their lives and speak out. There are 21 counts against you.
All right.
14 for sexual assault and 7 for sodomy.
That's correct.
You know, it was a routine every night. We meet in one of the offices or in the bathrooms.
And they say a culture of abuse not only existed, but was encouraged within the prison over at least 13 years. They say that even in prison, there were lots of places that offered privacy. Secretary's offices in the administration building. A captain's office late at night. A clothing issue room. Staff fasters. Storage areas in the gym. Even chaplain's offices off the chapel.
Oh, so I know what you're thinking. Reject. Say no, scream, or...
I said,
Hell no.
The women say Filio used his authority to threaten those who refused his sexual advances. Their punishment, they say, could be solitary confinement.
Women who said yes did it because they had no other choice.
He made me feel that I was still a human being and I was wanted. Sometimes I feel like I'm betraying him because he told us not to never tell on him. And I understand that he's trying to protect himself, but it's time that the truth came out.
But this woman really exposed everything in the span of a single breath.
I thought I was just a human being that made a mistake. But I realized I'm just a state whore because this is what these people are telling me every day. It's okay for you to give this officer a job. It's okay for this officer to give you $50.
He was a lieutenant. He could do what he wanted to do. He made that clear to me. He could do whatever he wanted to do. And nobody would believe me if I did say anything. We didn't have the mentality to tell. We're scared people.
But all of this begs a question. Why was he doing all of that to these women? This is a serious question. Why?
Why do you think he wanted to have sex with you?
I believe because he wanted that power over us, that power to control. Sex, power, and the ability to control. Aren't they always interwoven no matter what setting you find them in? Always.
Everybody was doing it. So many people were doing it. And it's like the officers knew, the staff knew, the wardens knew.
On their end, some women tried their best to report it, but
When it comes to evidence of sexual abuse, these are some of the department's own written records that show that officials did know. Some of the women had complained, and when they did speak out, their complaints were inevitably dismissed. Jane Doe number 8 says in 1985, she became sexually involved with an officer who, in exchange, promised to get her out of prison early. When she ended the relationship, she decided to tell.
I asked the cottage officer if she would call the supervisor. And she listened to me, to everything I had to say, and of course she had to call the warden.
She said that she, in fact, had had a sexual relationship with an officer, said where it occurred, when it occurred, how it occurred.
She was very specific.
Very specific, and wished to make a complaint.
And I talked to the people from the internal affairs. The next day, they were contacted.
What happened?
Not anything. Nothing happened, but they were just all concerned.
But what was the result? What happened?
Several months later, the department simply transferred the officer, Larry Johnson. Last November, a full 6 years after the incident was first investigated, Officer Johnson was indicted and pleaded not guilty.
Georgia had a law since 1981. Any sexual contact between a corrections officer and an inmate is a felony. All right? Bear that in mind.
What does Georgia law say about these kinds of relationships?
Any sexual contact between an inmate and a staff member is a felony.
It's a crime.
It's a crime.
But when we asked the deputy commissioner of the entire Georgia Department of Corrections live on camera, something shocking happened.
He is now under indictment.
That's correct.
Why was he not indicted before?
At that time, I was not aware of the law that was brought to my attention concerning the relationship of staff with inmates.
You didn't know about the Martin Law?
No, I didn't.
Excuse me, that was a law that was passed by the Georgia State Legislature in response to a specific situation involving a senior officer of the Department of Corrections at GWCI.
That's correct.
In 1981.
That's correct.
Not ancient history.
That's correct.
How could you not have known? How could your legal advisors not have told you? Was it your impression that your superiors in Atlanta knew about the law?
It's difficult for me to believe that someone in a position of that kind of authority would not know what the law was.
But what happened to women who fought back against the system, who acted out, who caused problems?
It is still not clear how many times Jane Doe number 39 was stripped and hogtied.
I was bound with my feet and my hands behind each other. I stayed like that back in the day. I didn't have on no clothes. I was on the floor without no mattress, no nothing.
And look, all of this was caught on the prison's own surveillance tapes. A nationally known expert in prison psychiatry watched those tapes.
I've worked in jails and prisons before and had never seen that or ordered that.
But Dr. Cassandra Newkirk is a nationally known expert in prison psychiatry. She was hired by the Georgia Department of Corrections after the scandal broke.
I remember watching the videotape and I cut it off. I really just became sick.
And then there was what happened when a guard got a woman pregnant, Jane Doe. She was given life sentence, had not been outside the prison walls in 10 years. She was impregnated by a worker named Daryl Simmons. When she told him about all this pregnancy thing,
Also indicted last November was Daryl Simmons, a maintenance worker accused of having sex with this inmate in 1989.
I confronted him one day and I told him, I said, look, I'm pregnant. And he laughed. He thought it was funny. And then he reared back in his chair and he put his arms behind his head and just grinned at me. And he said, well, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do? And then he balled his fist up. He said, well, I could always beat it out of you.
Jane Doe number 1 is serving a life sentence for murder. She had not been outside the prison for 10 years when she became pregnant.
It was mine, and it was something that no one could take away from me.
Warden Gary Black called her into his office, slammed the door, screamed at her for 5 minutes. May 11, 1989, she was taken to a hospital in Atlanta. The state of Georgia paid the bill. But wait a minute, was that abortion her choice?
I got called to the warden's office.
Then Warden Gary Black reported the pregnancy to his supervisors, and they ordered an investigation. What happened next is in dispute. Judy Ivy was Gary Black's assistant.
He was very, very mad. And he slammed the door and proceeded to yell at her for approximately 5 minutes and said that she was going to do what he told her to. There's not going to be any question that she was an inmate and he was the warden.
Who first suggested to you that you should have your abortion, Mr. Black?
On May 11, 1989, Jane Doe number 1 was taken to Midtown Hospital in Atlanta for her abortion. The state of Georgia paid the bill. Did you ever think that having that abortion was your choice?
Yeah, I never believed it was hers.
They killed my soul that day.
The state she was in when she came out of his office and the state she was in when she got back from Midtown was not the normal state when an inmate has an abortion.
In no way did I ever threaten her.
And what's even fucked up is this: 2 miles from the main facility, a satellite called Colony Farm, 200 women. The work details here gave staff something extra.
2 miles down the road from the main prison was an inmate dormitory called Colony Farm. 200 women used to live here. It is now closed. If the atmosphere at the main prison was loose, here, the women say things were out of control. Out of control, the women say, because the jobs they performed, in prison language, their work detail, provided even more opportunities for exploitation and abuse. For example, when women worked at gas pumps outside the main gate, pumps out of sight of officers in the guard tower, they told us they could be taken to an old bus for sex with state employees. But it was not just sex. In the garment factory, as they worked sewing prison clothing and mattresses, they also did something else. They bought and sold drugs. Former warden Gary Black lived just outside the gates of Colony Farm. He was in charge as all of this was going on.
And then came the motel files.
But even more shocking, some of the women told us about things that took place off prison property. Women from the prison were taken to a local motel, they tell us, for what amounted to prostitution. What happened there, they say, was an extension of what happened inside the prison. It was a private arrangement, not an openly operating brothel. They say the customers were men associated with the Department of Corrections.
And the girls would be taken out on their outside details and set up in this little hotel room. Customers were brought, money exchanged. At the end of the day, the girls were brought back to the institution.
How could they be taken out Clyde? Easy. Jane Doe number 50 told us she was assigned to a maintenance detail that frequently brought prisoners to the motel. She's an alcoholic and told us she was bribed with liquor, not to participate in the sex, but as a reward for helping prison employees get other women out of the institution.
Certain time, when everything was cool, when nobody around, and then I'd jam a lot. Maintenance guy would come, pick us up, bring us back over here, get the tools, we'd go to the motel.
Jane Doe number 90 thought the maintenance detail would be a good assignment until she says she was warned off by other women.
This was like a danger zone, and I was just not in a position to handle it by myself.
How did you know it was going on?
I had a friend who was involved. She's no longer here. She's gone home.
Some of the women have said that they went to a motel from time to time.
That's not true.
You don't think it had ever happened?
It did not happen. No.
But Day One has obtained this affidavit from a new witness. The woman says she went to the motel for paid sex over a period of months while in prison in the 80s. She says she received money and cigarettes, jewelry, and various narcotics for her participation.
Now, I know all of this sounds crazy as fuck, but who was the mastermind behind all of these operations?
Did he run the prostitution ring?
No.
Did he know the people who did?
Yes.
Were the people who ran the prostitution ring members of the staff of this prison? Or former members of the staff of this prison?
Yes.
Were they members of the administration of the prison?
Yes.
Did they include the warden?
See, I really didn't answer your last question fully. I walk out on this compound. Someone can sit on the road with a rifle and a scope and kill me. If they were willing to kill Bubba, they'll kill me too.
But what happened to people who knew all of this? Well, one of those people happened to be Bubba Holland, 49 years old, a maintenance worker inside a prison. His issue was simply that he knew too much. When the lawsuit started, the GBI called him in for questioning. On May 15th, he left their office at 3:15 p.m. 4 hours later, found dead in his truck.
Who was the maintenance man that you went with the first day you went to the motel?
First time I went to the motel was with Bubba Holland.
Bubba Holland was one of the men on the maintenance staff. He was a 49-year-old divorced father of 3. He had worked for the state for nearly 25 years. Last spring, when the prison investigation started as a result of the inmate's lawsuit, Bubba Holland was one of those called in for questioning. He met twice with the Correction Department's internal affairs investigators. Then he was summoned by the GBI. He was supposed to take a lie detector test.
He left the GBI office somewhere around 3:15 that Friday, I believe it was May the 15th.
Bubba Holland left the GBI and ran some errands around town. 4 hours later, he was found dead in his truck. It was parked outside of his apartment on state property. At first, it was thought he'd had a heart attack. His body was sent for a routine autopsy. But 10 weeks after he had been buried, other lab tests came back with a surprising result.
He had 2.5 times the lethal dose of strychnine in his body. and that had been the cause of his death. I might say that would have been the least expected thing I would ever expected to hear, that he had died of any kind of poisoning.
And that raised the question, how did the poison get in his body? Was it suicide or murder? The night Bubba Holland died, the coroner and 2 other experienced investigators searched the truck. When the lab results came back and they could not figure out how the strychnine got into his system, the chief of detectives and the coroner searched again.
Within 1 minute, the vial was found on the floorboard of the truck and had strychnine written on it. It appeared to be 20, 30 years old. For so many hours or so many days and so many nights, I have thought over and over and over and over again, could I have missed that? And I don't think that's possible.
The discovery of a vial like this one raised more questions than it answered. How had they missed it in the first search? Had it been planted by someone else to make Bubba Holland's death look like suicide? And if it was suicide, why was there no evidence he had swallowed the poison?
I can't say he was killed. I can't say he killed himself. I don't know. All I'm trying to do is do what's in my power to determine, if he in fact killed himself or if somebody killed him. That's the bottom line.
Everyone liked Bubba. He was so full of life. And I can't believe Bubba killed himself.
Do you think he committed suicide?
No, I do not. He loved his children. He lived for his children. 2 days before his daughter's birthday, 2 days before his son's graduation, he could commit suicide.
Was Bubba Holland murdered?
My personal opinion, yes, I do.
But that raises the question, why would someone murder Bubba Holland?
Because Bubba knew too much.
The department closed its investigation. The GBI stopped looking. Bubba Holland's body was never exhumed.
It is not just the women who are afraid.
I've gotten threatening phone calls. I've had a couple of my dogs shot.
These threatening phone calls that you've gotten, what do they say?
They talk about, Holland killed himself. Keep it at that.
New facilities were opened. New cases were filed immediately.
Instances of sexual abuse have not stopped. There have been new cases at the Georgia Women's Correctional Institution, and even at 2 new women's prisons the Georgia Department of Corrections opened after the scandal broke.
This was 1992, and we're in 2026. So you think it stopped?
A new federal lawsuit claims New York prison guards raped female inmates at 2 Western New York correction facilities. The suit also alleges the sex abuse was covered up by authorities.
Like the video so we can save more female behind bars.
Seen that video.
Fuck everybody that doubted me. Niggas counting me, y'all talking down on me. How patiently waiting locked up in that box. Now I'm shitting on nigga respectfully. I'ma told me I am till I'm dead and gone. Cause niggas been dying to close to me. And now we ain't cool like we used to be. Ain't nothing funny, so don't even joke with me. I know niggas don't like me, but these bitches love me. Since I came home, I've been a big problem. I done beat my op, baby mama first. I'm back out a little hoe calling me Big Papa. And I'm riding dirt in my license. Spinning there right next to me is the big chopper. I admit that I'm scared, so Pluto not spoopy. Cause you can get spit out my last dollar. Bitch, I'm waving that stick out the window like Harry Potter. That's a whole lot of gun clapping. With the beginning dirt. Put that boy on the shirt where I'm from, it's a whole lot of toe tagging. Yeah, I did like a leak, yeah, I came from the gutter. I slept on the floor on a dirty match. Now I did like new money, so every time I buy me a fit, I got buy a new block to match it. Now I just boost like a wit doctor. I made that boy disappear like a black magic. The brother been bumming his whole life. Now he first to death in that new casket. With my heart on my sleeve like a new fashion. The mama on boogie, she too nasty. I'ma smoke a little nigga when I catch him. I don't fuck with little buddy, so stop acting. Now I hit the race on the highway. I see blue light in the dad in the field. I'm holding court in the street, Lord, no, I'm riding.